Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Samuel, sir, you hear me?
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Do you hear me?
Yeah. How are you?
Yes, sir.
I'm doing good, sir. I'm doing good. So, how are things with you?
Yeah. Great.
All right.
Life has taken a different turn, no? These days.
That's right. But it's in a way it's comfortable and in a way it is difficult as well. So,
Yeah. So these are my students.
okay.
Rishi Raj is a student of grade 12 science.
The name again, sir? Rishi. Okay.
Rishi Raj. Raj is
Right.
Tamil name. And
Okay.
this guy is also heading the electronic media of the school.
Right. Okay.
And Navya Chamaria is a student of grade 11 humanities.
Right. Okay.
He's very active in the debating society of the school.
I see. Okay.
Okay. Now we are three of us are working on one particular mission. You must have heard of Round Square. No?
Yes, sir. I heard about it. Yeah.
So the school is hosting an inter-school Round Square, and the topic we are dealing with is leadership.
Okay.
So it's a student-driven program. We have been working with the student leaders, but I hadn't been working with these two. These two are being trained and coached by different batch of seniors and teachers. But yesterday we happened to work together. So I thought that let's do a kind of brainstorming session with you. Because the point is, when you are involving students of different schools and keeping in mind that they are also in their comfort zones, you will have to really think of exceptional activities so that you can keep them involved. No. So
Right,
they have
correct,
made
correct.
their preparations and their homework, but still if there is a brainstorming between you and the student, I feel that we can make our committee active. So this is all
I
about
understand that.
this is the objective of
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Right, sir. Right.
Raj and Navya, you can start.
So, hello Rishi and hello Navya. Glad to meet you here. And I would like
Hi,
to
sir.
I'd like to first of all tell how I'm acquainted with Mr. Sam, your teacher Sam. Well, Samuel has been a very good friend. We met in 2017 when he was working in a school in Kanyakumari district. And last year, with his help and with all the kinds of channelized efforts that Sam took, I was able to come to the school. On August 27th, I was there in the school 1 year back, and I met all your teachers, and I gave a 2-day faculty development program for all your teachers. And this year, again, I'm meeting 2 dynamic representatives. I'm very happy about it. So thanks again for this opportunity, sir, Sam, sir. Yeah, okay. So how can I help you, Rishi and Navya?
So we have this round square coming up, which Sir has already told you about. And then
Right,
we
sir.
were just hoping that, like, as Baraza leaders, we were hoping that we could make our groups really active. We didn't want people to feel like it was getting monotonous or getting really boring. So we were trying to come up with good ice-breaking activities and sessions, but like everything we think of has happened in the past or has it might just become boring. So we were hoping that we could get some ideas from you, or like we could just brainstorm together to come up with better ideas.
Right. So what are all the activities you have actually planned? Just give me a gist of the activities that you planned. You mentioned that it was appearing as a stereotypical thing after you have planned. So you first tell me what you have planned, and then we will make corrections on it. What activity? Tell me one example of an activity that you had in your mind.
So we were thinking of this. So we're discussing leaderships, right? So we thought to know how each person thinks of a leader, or like everybody has a certain definition of a leader in their minds. So we were thinking of doing this. We thought of giving them options. Like we haven't made a concrete plan as of now, but say an example, just for an example. So I give you an option of choosing between Modi and Trump, just an example, and then you choose one. So then we might just tell you to tell us why, or we might not ask you why. But what we do is we get an idea of what or who you think of as a leader. And
Okay.
and then another thing was just to start off with our introduction, like just to know the names and everything. We thought of this. So my name is Navya. So, and with the first letter of my name, I'll tell something I'm really fond of. Can be anything I'm really fond of. And from the last letter of my name, I'll tell something I just really can't stand. And even that can be, it can be a feeling, it can be an object, a show, a book, anything. That way, what will happen is that, say, somebody from H says, I love Harry Potter, just an example, and I'm a Potterhead too. So we might just connect. We might be like, oh right, even I am really fond of the Harry Potter series. So that
Right.
was something we thought of. And yeah.
Right. So the ideas were impressive, but tell me what really made you think that they might be feeling this boring, and it's very stereotypical, and it will not be that much optimistic. When you're figuring out an idea, and when your mind says that, come on, these people are not going to like this idea. What made you think that these people are not going to like this idea? Besides having
Also,
the idea as a very good one.
not exactly like they would not like it, but the fact that everybody is at their homes and we don't know people, like, so we're meeting for the first time virtually, so there's definitely that social gap,
Hmm.
which like bridging which would be really difficult virtually, honestly. I mean, to have everybody speak their minds out would be difficult at the very first instance. So
Right,
that's why
right.
we were really confused about how we must go about it.
Well, in my opinion, with whatever leadership classes I am conducting virtually in Zoom meetings, what I do is I give them some kind of dramatic and a little bit of skit-based activities for the students. So you can also try that, because since we are speaking about leadership, since we are speaking about, you rightly mentioned that everybody has got a little bit of exposure towards leadership. But let me give you two or three activities. Both Rishi and you, Navya, can discuss and tell me if it is really going to be an approved one or not. The first activity, what I would like to say is ask about the biggest failures that they have faced in their lives, because you people are higher secondary students. And specifically when they got into the preteen stage and during the teenage stage, they must have gone through some sort of difficult situation that they were looking forward to get some help from somebody, or they might had been in a position of looking for a technical or an expertise assistance or that. Some people might get the expertise assistance, some people might not have got the expertise assistance, but the person would have ultimately come across that rut situation, that traumatic situation. In fact, if a person is able to say that and describe that, that itself is a very good evidence of that person's leadership. So we can name this activity as retrospection. I repeat, we can name this activity as retrospection, where you just ask people to go back to the past life and ask them to get a particular situation in which they felt really put down, underrated, or unappreciated. But doing something, they have come across that situation. They rised up to the occasion and they came out of that particular rutful feeling. So if 5 or 6 people are sharing this, then we have got a wonderful galaxy of some good, challenging past experiences. And while you listen to that, you would be able to identify the type of leadership the person has got. For example, if a person says, well, you know what, when I was in the 10th grade, I was having a very big fever. I was really feeling so much down. I was not able to be at my best, but still, yet I wrote my examination and I scored a very good mark. So this, the person comes and says, it clearly means the person has been into transformational leadership. I may be even sending you the list of the leadership styles. So by virtue of people asking and people telling about their past experiences, you can decide what kind of leadership they really have. So both of you, how do you think this exercise is going to work? We will start with Rishi. So Rishi, what do you think? Will this exercise work and will make people get a little motivated, and will they be elevated about leadership? What is your thinking?
So I feel if a person is like emotionally driven, he or she would really would want to speak up in their own capacities, because it's not nothing. It's not like none of us have failed, So obviously, if we have like 4 or 5 people also who speak on this, like who are comfortable speaking on this, I
Okay.
think it will be a a good activity.
Definitely, definitely. If there are going to be about 35 people or 40 people, at least 10% of the people are going to come up with some situations, and it'll be easy for you to identify the leadership styles of those people. So this will be
Right.
the first activity. Here, you are not asking people to speak anything on a technical basis. You're just asking the people to go back into your life. And no individual will be feeling it bored to get back to the life and speak about it. Let's say, for example, even if I'm asking you to bring up some list, you will come up with some 4 or 5 occasions where you felt really bad, where you felt really helpless, and eventually you have become a successful person. So this will be the first activity, and let's name it as the retrospection. Okay, right? Second activity. Do you have any questions, both of you, about this, Rishi and Navya?
No, sir.
All right. Okay.
None.
So yeah, let's now talk about the second activity that we could possibly execute in this forum. The second activity is a pretty interesting activity. You spoke about the failure in the previous activity and how the person came across that failure. In the second activity, what we shall do is we will give uncharacterized people. For example, if there is a boy and if the boy is interested to take this activity, we will give him a chance. Like, you are working in a multinational corporation as a marketing supervisor. And as a marketing supervisor, you have got 5 individuals under your leadership. The first individual is a very short-tempered and has got some angry management issues. Second individual has got lots of memory problems. Third individual has got the suspect attitude. He will suspect everybody. He always sees everything with suspicious eyes. Fourth person is a person who does not know how to speak good English. He has a very big communication skill. And fifth and final person has got shyness. He cannot speak to the customer or client that easily. How would you tackle these 5 people, and how would you sell your product if you're the marketing manager, knowingly or unknowingly? These are the 5 employees who are working under your guidance. So how are you going to tackle? So here, the person has to think about how to handle these 5 people. And the person will come up with the idea. As far as this angered man is concerned, I will be doing this. As far as this memory problem man is concerned, I will be doing this. Likewise, they will be coming up with some idea. And that will be a beautiful test of putting them into a leadership evaluation. So this is called as the emotional mastery round. We can call it as emotional mastery, excuse me, emotional mastery round, where we are giving some emotional problems of the individuals and asking them to clear things out. But you have to do a little homework in this. You will have to work out about 5 or 6 scenarios in which you will have to work out the emotional problems, and some dramatic skit-based situations should also be worked out. You have to use your creativity for this. So this shall be the second activity. Third activity I would like to do, I mean, after retrospection and after emotional mastery situation, the third activity is, let's take some 6 or 7 Indian-based companies, Ashok Leyland, PepsiCo, Reliance, Godrej, Tata, likewise. And let us take real way of some problems these companies faced. Okay, some real problems these companies faced. You have to work on it and you have to take it up. Some simple things. Because please understand that the people whom you are speaking are not managerial students. They're just school students. But with whatever I have understood, these people are really intelligent enough to deal with the situations. Give them small kind of case study or something, maybe taking it from the companies, and ask them to give solution for it. We call it as modern age solutions. Modern age solutions. This round is called as modern age solutions, where you are giving the realistic problems happened in big companies and you are asking the students to come out with some solutions. And this is really going to work out a lot, because the people will have, specifically in this round, you should allow the members to go for web references. If they would like to Google something, let them Google. And for the other 2 rounds, please don't allow anybody to go for any web references. Make them work with their brain. So if you are able to work on these 3 things, I think you'd be able to really capture the attention. So far, so good. Do you find any challenges in the 3 exercises I have mentioned so far? If so, tell me. Is it practically possible?
Yeah, it's absolutely possible to have it, sir. I think we can not. I don't have a problem. I think we can improvise them to suit them better, and then so that I can relate more on a personal level. So let's say the emotional mastery. So you tell me you give an example of a company, right? So suppose now if I know a person plays cricket. So I just telling that you're the head, you're the captain of the cricket team in your school, and you have these 5 kind of persons who are who have these emotional challenges. So how do you deal with them so that your team benefits from it?
Right.
So that.
Right. Right. So you can improvise, as you rightly mentioned. What you're trying to say is you're simplifying things so that they would be able to understand, and you're trying to bring the model. Yeah, yeah. You are trying to bring the modeling even more simplified so that those people will be really interested to work on it. Yeah, that's totally good. You can do that. Any other improvisations? Navya, you have any points to give in this?
No, sir. I think these are really nice activities in which we can get them into speaking about what leadership is and different kinds of leaderships and everything. And I think it will just help us communicate. So we'll do the homework. Rishi and I will do it.
Right,
And
right. That's good. So then we shall move into the 4th activity. The 4th activity is a real simple one and a very interesting one. In fact, I enjoy conducting this activity exclusively with the MBA students and to the engineering students. It is like bring up a virtual company, virtual company, put those people in a team discussion or something and ask them to decide coming up with a particular company, the brand name, the caption, and the product, including the investment, how much they are investing, how much is the return on investment. Everything should be planned by those members. I know these people would not have prior experience on this, and they are really going to have a little bit of a trouble in planning this. But with putting the minds together and having a little bit of a brainstorming and a Delphi technique kind of an idea generation will definitely make them come up with very good ideas of a company. And once they say that, okay, right, we are done. We have a company right now, and our company is X and X company, and we are going to deal with plastic products, this, that, whatever it may be. And then you come up with some problems that a company normally gets into a society. When a company normally gets launched into a society, what are all the problems the company will face? Employees strike and government norms changing and people dropping their confidence because of the management's poor ratio and hierarchical problems, all that. So you give one by one and ask them to give a solution for these kinds of problems. Okay. Start with this kind of the current problem that we are all encountered with. If a pandemic occurs, how would your company survive? How are you going to keep the employees motivated in your company? What kind of leadership attitude or what kind of leadership attributes you would have for keeping the employees motivated? How are you going to keep the customers stuck up with your company? How are you going to block them from running away from your company to some other company? So if you ask these questions, the discussion will get more groomed and it will be very lively, very, very lively. And in this round, exclusively, I want you to do an intervention. I want you to, I want you to try to get a copy of the book I am saying, Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. Well, this is a great book that you need to read. Yeah, John C. Maxwell. So this is a
I have heard
wonderful,
about it.
beautiful, beautiful, Rishi. So then you will have to elongate it and you will have to take a lot of efforts towards it. I don't know if you would be getting the PDF copy or not, but you are going to definitely get the excerpts of it, at least a little bit of notes of that book in website or in the YouTube channels. So I wanted to get that and try to use these 21. There are 21 laws of leadership in that book. And I want both of you to read that, internalize that, and then try to inference that into this virtual company round, because that will definitely stimulate the leadership of the people. And when this is happening, if you need my presence through Sam, you just let me know. Maybe I can also join, and I will be giving you some sort of assistance as an expert assistance or something. You think about that. I mean, keep it as a backup, and think about it, and you let me know. So in this virtual company round, you would be forced to speak a lot of things. You can speak about the leadership attributes of some companies, some Indian companies, as much as you can. Keep it Indian. Keep everything Indian. Don't speak about Oracle. Don't speak about Google. Try to bring up a temperament into the mind of the people that they will have to think and act Indian. All right.
So 1 minute.
So this word, yeah, yes, sir.
See, in their committees, they have allotted different schools in different countries. So one activity which across committees, like we are having how many committees now we are totally, Rishi?
13.
So there are
13.
13 committees with two student leaders in every committee, and every committee will be having like around 10 countries, I feel. Right, 10 countries, no?
Oh, 10 countries. Okay.
One activity which the school has planned across committees is like the students representing one committee. For instance, if I am representing Russia, I have to talk about how Russia has been dealing with the pandemic.
Right. Okay. Well, then we shall have a broader view. Okay. Let's have a broader view, and let us not have any control over this country thing. Because I was thinking only schools from India are joining, but if multiple countries are joining, let us not have this.
So it's like every
then every school has been given a specific country to represent.
Okay.
So it's like each school is representing a country.
Right. I understand. In that case.
And so I'm so sorry for cutting you. It's just that like this conference is a bit like a focused on the current situation. So we're talking about leadership during this pandemic situation. So like while we can have these activities about virtual company and everything, I think we also need to focus on how countries in particular have dealt with the current situation and have come up with solutions and dealt with all these issues.
Well, Navya, if that is going to be a mandate, we can speak on that. But if you ask me, being out of the box, I would rather resist myself from talking about the solution for the pandemic. Because tell me one individual across the countries who has a proper solution for the pandemic. Because we are stuck up. We are experiencing the lockdown for almost about half a year now. And who has a solution? Which country has a solution? Right. So you see, the best objective that we need to have in our mind is coming back to the normal life. We got to roll back to the normal life that we had in 2019 and 2018. That's our biggest dream. That's our biggest objective. But the point is, if you could see the current kind of emergence that has happened, that going back to the normal life of 2019 and 2018 is highly seeing, the likelihood is very, very glimmer, and it is very impossible. So exclusively the student fraternity have got very minimal level of solutions for this kind of situation. But if you ask me a solution, I would say, start learning to live along with it. Live with it. We got to live with it. Okay, so now we have got good awareness. World Health Organization has come up with a release that 35% of entire world population have become more aware about how to take care of themselves from ordinary diseases. The health awareness has been shot up. Previously, it was not the case. Now, the health awareness is really shot up, and people are really taking care of their health really well. And the fitness regime is being recycled and all that. So all these are better benefits that we are experiencing. But in this leadership summit, if you are looking for a solution for the current situation,
1 minute.
I would like to stick.
Excuse me. Sir, if you just could go through this particular thing, please. Yes.
Okay. Aims and objective, more about leadership qualities and styles, role and importance of leader in organization, impact of leader on the people, understanding today's leaders, action and decisions, impact of the decision taken in the current situation, what went well and what did not go well, what could have been better. Know what true leadership is, know different leaders across the globe, be able to reflect and identify their own leadership styles and qualities, delve deep into the various pandemic, especially the current one. Okay, okay. All right. Come up with unanimous solution and pass a concrete resolution. All right. Okay. So in that case, I would like to say to both Navya, thanks for sharing that.
You were framing the case study, no? Like you're having different kinds of leaders. So if the students and I could do a kind of homework wherein you're bringing this real characters, like for instance, if the company manager can be WHO, and like you have people with defects, we can take in the case study those leaders with the Putin, Narendra Modi, and Mr. Trump, and different leaders, and say what, and maybe the committee can decide like what is the defect with these people.
Well, in that case, we will have to go back in the history to get some people who are called to be the real leaders. I mean, if we are speaking about the current leaders, I don't see a difference between we countrymen and the current leaders, because whatever sufferings that we are having, the current leaders are also expressed with the same kind of problems. So unfortunately, we cannot use our own prime minister's name or the American president's name or Russian president's name in this situation, because all of us are the same. All of us are having the same problem, and everybody is having a blinked eye, and nobody has got a proper solution for what is going to happen. But if we research back, when plague happened as a pandemic in the 17th century, or when other kinds of virus blast was brought into any country by America, or during Hiroshima days, or during Pearl Harbor days, we can definitely get some case experts from those days, and we can definitely use that in this leadership summit. And in the 17th century, when plague appeared, that pandemic took almost about 12% of the world. It eradicated 12% of the world. And in 17th century, if it is 12% of the world, it's only few lakhs, because the world population was not that gamut as it is right now. But so what happens is, if you are taking the case studies of those situations, I think you can really speak well. But currently, I don't have any leader. I'm really sorry to say this. Currently, I don't have any leader who has got a very good vision of how to take the world, the citizens, or this world out of this pandemic situation. Because even if you are going to search or Google, we are not going to end up with a proper solution. But we can speak about the past. We can do historical. You said that you are going to do the homework. You can please go to the 17th century and 18th century and how world got transformed. And you will definitely get a lot of insights. And that's going to be even more interesting as well. While you're speaking, that's going to be even more interesting as well. And I think Sam sir knows, I am giving lots of clinical therapies for the youngsters to get out of the fear about this pandemic. I'm giving psychological exercises for the youngsters to get out of the anxiety and uncertainty they are having in life. So if you want a list of those therapies, which I'm doing it as an expert advice, we can even bring a list of those therapies in this summit, and we can let people know about the therapies. If people are interested, we can even give the demonstration videos for them so that they can also try. Which will be, yeah, of course. I mean, just because Mr. Sam David is my friend, I am willing to share this with you. But if it is some other school or institution, I would be asking them to put it under my label. Okay, this is from Dr. Manikandan Sundaresan, a chief trainer and a psychologist. And it's like a patent right or something. It's like a copyright issue or something. So if it is for the other institution, I would not be willing to give it because they might misuse it. But here, since Sam is there, we can even speak about some therapies that are used for the youngsters right now for getting out of their emotional turmoil. Because getting out of emotional turmoil is in itself a leadership quality. So we can speak about those solutions as well. So now coming back to these things, the 4 activities that we were discussing, and two other subdivided points. That is, we shall speak about the historical way of handling the pandemic, and we shall give the current modern age therapies and psychological exercises for coming out of the psychological fear we have about this pandemic. We can include all this as a package, and I think we can deliver it really well, and the other countries will find it so much interest. That's what I feel very confidently.
So say, because
So, any
pandemic is a
questions?
crisis. Can I talk?
Yes,
Because
sir.
the pandemic is a crisis. Now, do you think we can apply your case study, the aeroplane crash case study? Would that
Of
be?
course, we can do that. Of course, we can do that. There was also in that case study also there was a struggle for leadership, and here also we are having a struggle for leadership. We can very well use that. We can definitely use that. I was thinking that it requires an administrator first. In the case of the story, in that particular case study that you are speaking about, both Rishi and Navya should be really making a lot of homework about it, and only then it will be executed. If you are having a little bit of biased information and knowledge about the case study, then it is going to burn your fingers because it's going to backfire. So I think you remember that case study. Maybe I can even send the PPT to you so you can take it forward to
Yeah,
them
that
and
will
you
be
can
fine.
use
So
that.
if we can like make some changes, like adding a bit of element, like you have people from different countries and assign the characters to different nationalities and stick to the kind of characteristics they have. And then we let the committee choose the leaders whom they feel, and then let them break down. This guy has got such a kind of leadership. And then I think if we can build a little bit on it, because that case study will really keep the committee involved. That is what I feel.
Correct. Is it possible to mention the name, sir? Because since it's from my company, can I expect my name and my company, mentioned
Yeah,
there
that's
before
fine.
executing the case study? Because
We
that's
will put a committee that we have
a
sorted.
very big audit purpose. Is it possible?
Yeah, that's not an issue at all. Because
Yeah. Okay.
we are seeking your help. That's the thing.
Right. Okay. Right. So in that way, that case study. So what I will do is I will send the PPTs, two PPTs, one speaking about the case study, another one is the list of the leadership styles. And your teachers really enjoyed well. Last year when I was doing that case study in the school, they really enjoyed well. So those two PPTs, I can send it across and you can use it for your leadership.
Actually, Ma'am Puja is the one who is heading this entire thing.
Oh, okay.
So she has sent a list of leadership styles also.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So any other points you want apart from this? And the last point, the fifth way of making this leadership summit a very effective one is ask a lot of questions and pick choose some bad leaders. Take some bad leaders. And more than good leadership examples, we need a good collection of bad leadership examples. So when you have the bad leadership examples, you can speak about the person and you can ask the students to give some solutions, how the person can behave properly, how this bad leadership can be converted into a better one. So if you do that, then it's going to elicit a lot of interaction and it will be even more lively as well. So this activity can be called as leadership postmortem. When I say leadership postmortem, you can take the bad leadership, tell that to the students and ask them to bring up solution for a better leadership. Yeah, Navya, you were speaking something.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to ask if there was if you had any way in mind in which we could informally interact with the delegates, as in have a formal setup, but just help them open up. Like these activities we can use for our discussions.
See, that meeting might stop. I would request all of you to re-enter through the same link. Okay, we can break we can break by 11 o'clock, I think, because Sir Manikandan might be having other commitments too. So please rejoin all of you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm getting the half of your question, Navya. Like you're speaking about informally. How can we informally do that?
Just
right?
in the beginning, to make sure that everybody contributes in these discussions, in these activities, everybody feels free to talk to us. So
okay. So you're looking for some icebreaker session or something so that you can feel
Yes.
comfortable, right? Okay,
Yes.
right. So
Yes, sir. We have a few ideas, and we
uh,
just wanted, like, to,
mhm.
if he's not
Yeah,
able to,
I told him about those,
yeah,
and
if you can add
we
to
will
those
first hear
ideas.
the ideas. What are all the ideas you have?